Put $100 a month into an investment earning an illustrative 8% annual return for 10 years, and you end up with roughly $18,000. Put $500 a month into the exact same investment, earning the exact same return for the exact same 10 years, and you end up with roughly $91,000. Nothing happened to the 8%. Compounding didn't suddenly become more powerful. You simply gave it a much larger base to work with, much sooner. And that's the idea behind this entire video. Compounding doesn't suddenly start working when you cross some magical monthly number. It starts mattering in real dollars when you consistently feed it enough capital for ordinary percentage returns to produce meaningful amounts of money. For many of the examples we'll use today, that practical visibility zone begins around $400 to $500 per month. That's not a universal threshold. Someone investing $200 consistently is still compounding wealth. But once you're putting $400, $500 or more into the system every month, the long-term difference can move from thousands of dollars into tens, and eventually hundreds of thousands. So why can another $200 or $300 per month change the experience so dramatically when the return percentage stays exactly the same? That's what we're going to break down. We'll look at the contribution threshold, why your monthly investment matters so much early on, when normal market returns start producing serious dollar amounts, and how to reach that stage without chasing ridiculous returns. And if you enjoy practical investing breakdowns like this, hit the like button and subscribe to Narrative Finance. Because the return didn't change. The amount of money you gave compounding to work on did. Now, I want to make one thing very clear about that $400 to $500 range. There is no financial switch that suddenly turns compounding on when you reach it. If you invest $50 a month, your money compounds. If you invest $100 a month, your money compounds. The mechanism doesn't change. What changes is the amount of money that mechanism is working on. Think about it this way. An 8% return on $5,000 is about $400 in 1 year. That same 8% on $50,000 is about $4,000. And 8% on $100,000 is about $8,000. Same percentage, completely different financial relevance. I call this the visibility threshold. It's not the point where compounding begins. It's the point where the dollar impact of your returns starts becoming difficult to ignore. A few $100s of annual growth might look like background noise inside your brokerage account. A few $1,000s can start competing with several months of your own contributions. Eventually, annual growth can become large enough to cover meaningful expenses or rival what you're personally investing each year. And that's what matters means in the title. Investing more every month doesn't mathematically improve the rate at which your money compounds. It does something more practical. It gets you to meaningful scale faster. Instead of waiting decades for a small base to become substantial, larger, consistent contributions build that base sooner. And once the base becomes large enough, the same ordinary percentage return starts producing very different dollar results. So the real question becomes, how much faster can you reach that scale by changing what you invest every month? Now let's put actual long-term numbers behind that idea. Assume an illustrative 8% annual return over 30 years. At $100 per month, you contribute $36,000 of your own money. Your ending balance would be roughly $149,000. At $400 per month, you contribute $144,000. The ending balance climbs to roughly $596,000. And at $500 per month, you contribute $180,000. The ending balance reaches approximately $745,000. These are illustrations, not predictions. Markets won't deliver 8% in a straight line, and actual returns will vary. But notice what's happening. We're essentially scaling the same mathematics. The relative effect of compounding doesn't magically change because you move from $100 to $500 per month. But the financial consequence absolutely does. Investing $100 a month can still build meaningful wealth. But investing $500 a month can build a base where normal market movements eventually represent tens of thousands of dollars in a single year. An 8% year on $500,000, for example, is roughly $40,000. Now, compounding isn't just producing a number you barely notice on your statement. It's producing dollar amounts that can rival what many people contribute from their paycheck over an entire year. That's why I think of roughly $400 to $500 per month as an illustrative visibility zone, not a magic minimum. And if $200 is what your budget realistically allows, $200 is valuable. This isn't about making smaller investors feel behind. It's about understanding scale. Because the important question isn't whether compounding works at $100 per month. It does. The question is how quickly your contribution level can build a base large enough for compounding to matter in a completely different way. This is where many investors focus on the wrong lever. When your portfolio is still small, trying to squeeze dramatically higher returns out of it may matter less than increasing the amount of money you consistently invest. Suppose you're investing $200 per month. That's $2,400 per year going into the market. You might look at an 8% long-term return assumption and think, what if I could somehow make 16% instead? But consistently doubling your expected return is an extremely aggressive assumption. And pursuing it usually means accepting substantially more uncertainty and risk. Now consider a variable you have more influence over. Increase your contribution from $200 to $350 per month. That's another $150 every month, or $1,800 of additional capital entering the portfolio every year. You didn't need to predict the next hot stock. You didn't need to perfectly time your entry point. You didn't need to chase the next crypto cycle. And you didn't need a leveraged bet to make a small portfolio feel like it's moving faster. You simply increase the amount of capital available to compound. That doesn't mean increasing contributions will always mathematically outperform earning a higher investment return. It means one of those variables is far more controllable than the other. Your contribution rate is controllable. Market return isn't. And this distinction matters most when the base is still small. A normal percentage return on a small portfolio can feel frustratingly insignificant. That frustration can tempt you to solve a capital problem by taking more investment risk. But when the base is small, adding capital is often a more dependable lever than trying to manufacture extraordinary returns. Before asking your investments to work dramatically harder, look at whether you can gradually give them more money to work with. Eventually, something else starts changing. Your monthly contribution is no longer the only number creating scale. Your portfolio itself has become larger. And that's when ordinary percentages begin translating into very different amounts of money. Using the same illustrative 8% return assumption, look at what happens. An 8% return on $25,000 is about $2,000. On $50,000, it's about $4,000. On $100,000, it's about $8,000. And on $250,000, it's about $20,000. Again, those are illustrations. An 8% return is not something the market delivers consistently every year. But the exercise reveals what I call dollar impact. Early on, an annual gain of a few $100s can feel almost irrelevant. At $4,000, you notice it. At $8,000, the portfolio may have produced the equivalent of many months of your own contributions. At $20,000, a normal percentage move can represent more money than some investors personally add during an entire year. And this is the second reason compounding starts to matter differently. First, larger monthly contributions help you build the base faster. Then the larger base gives every future percentage return more capital to work on. And when those gains remain invested, they become part of the base for whatever happens next. That's how the experience gradually changes. You aren't waiting for some extraordinary return to rescue a small portfolio. You're building a portfolio large enough that ordinary percentages can eventually produce extraordinary dollar amounts. The percentage never became larger, its dollar impact did. But investing more creates a new psychological trap. Once you increase your contribution to $400, $500, or even $1,000 per month, you naturally expect the portfolio to start looking different. You're sacrificing more of your paycheck. You're investing thousands of dollars every year. So you expect a bigger reward. Then 3 months pass, and your portfolio hasn't exploded. Maybe the market is flat. Maybe it's down. Maybe your $500 monthly contribution feels like it's barely moving the balance. And that's when the doubts begin. Maybe $500 isn't enough. Maybe I need a better ETF. Maybe I need 15% returns instead of 8%. I call this the expectation gap. The more money you sacrifice today, the easier it is to expect an immediate visible payoff tomorrow. But increasing your contribution does not eliminate the ingredients compounding still needs: capital, return, and time. A larger contribution helps you build the capital base faster. It cannot eliminate market volatility. It cannot prevent bear markets. And it cannot guarantee that the next year will even produce a positive return. That matters because impatience can destroy the advantage you just created. If increasing your contribution causes you to start chasing performance, constantly switching investments, or taking risks you don't understand, you may undermine the consistency that made the larger contribution valuable in the first place. The purpose of investing more is not to force compounding to reward you immediately. It's to give compounding more capital earlier, so that time has more to work with. Investing more accelerates the journey. It doesn't remove the journey. So if contributing more can get you to meaningful scale faster, how do you realistically increase that number? The answer usually isn't finding a higher return investment. It may be improving how much capital you consistently put into the system. One approach is raise capture. When your income increases, direct part of that raise toward investments before lifestyle inflation absorbs all of it. You don't have to invest every additional dollar. Just let your contribution rate improve alongside your income. Second, take advantage of an employer match when one is available to you. That can increase the amount reaching your 401k without requiring the entire contribution to come from your paycheck. Third, use automatic step-ups. You don't have to jump from $200 to $1,000 per month overnight. Maybe it's $250, then $300, then $400, then $500. Build a contribution rate your actual budget can sustain. And fourth, tax-advantaged accounts like a 401k, IRA, or HSA when you're eligible can work alongside a taxable brokerage account depending on your goals. And we recently had someone in this community share a real example of exactly this principle. He told us his 401k is now producing about $3,750 per month, only about $250 less than his monthly take-home pay. After paying off his house last December, he increased his personal 401k contribution from 6% to 14%. With a 6% company match, he said the equivalent of 20% of his pay is now going into the plan, totaling roughly $17,000 per year. And he's not finished. After cash funding 2 large upcoming expenses, his plan is to increase his own contribution to 19%. Add the 6% company match, and that would bring the total to 25%. He also mentioned that he has about 7 years until age 65. Now, the lesson is not that everybody should invest 20% or 25% of their income. Different incomes, expenses, families, employer plans, and timelines make that impossible as a universal rule. What matters is the sequence. He paid off a major expense. That freed up cash flow. Instead of asking the market to produce extraordinary returns, he increased the amount going into the market. And he already has another increase planned when his financial situation allows it. He didn't respond to having more financial room by demanding more from the market. He started putting more into the market. And this is one reason I pay attention to the comments on this channel. Real experiences from people in this community can show other investors what these principles actually look like at different stages of life. Your numbers don't have to look like his. The principle is what matters. Every time your financial capacity increases, you have another opportunity to give compounding a larger base to work with. You can't control what the S&P 500 does next year. You can't control interest rates. And you can't control when the next bear market arrives. But within the limits of your own financial situation, you can work on how much capital you consistently put into the system. So why does compounding matter so much more once your monthly contribution becomes meaningful? Because investing more changes how quickly you build the base that compounding gets to work on. A larger monthly contribution puts more capital into the system. It puts that capital there earlier. And every dollar added today becomes part of the base that future returns can build on. The sequence is simple. You increase your contributions. Your capital base grows faster. The same percentage return applied to that larger base produces bigger dollar gains. Those gains remain invested. Then those gains become part of the base that future returns can build on too. That is compounding. And eventually, the dollars become large enough that you stop thinking only about the percentage. You start noticing what that percentage is actually producing. There is no magic monthly number that turns compounding on. But there is a level where the dollars become large enough that you finally feel what the percentages were doing all along. For the examples in this video, roughly $400 to $500 per month gave us a useful illustrative visibility zone. It is not a universal minimum. Your income, expenses, starting balance, investment timeline, and financial priorities may make your number completely different. What matters is the direction. More consistent capital builds the base faster. A larger base gives compounding more to work with. And that is why your monthly contribution can matter far more than it seems today. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Share it with someone who is working on increasing how much they invest every month. And let me know in the comments, what monthly contribution are you working toward next? $250, $500, $1,000, or more? Thank you so much for watching. God bless, happy investing, and I'll see you in the next video.